this be the map in which Optic can come back into the series, or will we see a repeat of map 1? Will G2 continue to dominate?
Apex waiting at bottom of Banana while the rest of the team charging towards A. And we talked about G2 being one step ahead and Optic being caught now in CT. The numbers game working out for the T's so far. Mixwell trying to hold down CT spawn, but he's only good for the one kill. Nafly on the rotation from A. Tarek at the bottom of Banana and Rush moving into construction. Optic, they can make this work. They could have a crossfire between Rush and Tarek now. He's at the top of Banana. The remaining 3 players from G2, 2 of which have USPs. They'll have that extra headshot advantages evened out. Tarek taking some shots, Rush in the full position, running out of bullets though. Tarek at least gets a kill, down to a 2-on-2.
Yeah, very doable situation here as they move in with the USPs. Oh, that's not good though. Tarek is to go down and Shox has a bullet with Nat's name on it. So the first round will go to G2, and as you said, it's a cool pistol round to see. You don't often see that one. Just seen it going straight through CT spawn like that. I like it a lot. And we'll see G2 once again starting with that advantage. They've won all pistol rounds so far. I believe that's 3 of 3. Shox just getting in there, doing all kinds of damage.
All kinds.
All kinds of damage. It's a great round from him. Now, what is Optic going to do? This is one of the scarier maps insofar as, you know, let's say the terrorist side position of dealing with a force buy. There's all kinds of close range engagements that the CTs can find. And in fact, the Julies, I'm never really a fan personally of the Julies, but we'll see how well it can be utilized by Naf, and he's going to go down straight away. Great flashbang there. You can see, again, G2 very well prepared, very focused right now, not missing those crucial flashbangs. And now Optic know where the G2 side is going, but how much is that going to help them?
Yeah, they're not really fighting with much. USPs, the CZ. Tarek holding range with the scout, but the T's are getting into position already. And they can re-smoke if they want to. I say that, but Apex is actually with the smoke towards A. But frags are always good, and frags are what G2 are dishing out at the moment. 3 players very heavily tagged. Hayes, how much does he have to lose here? He's got 12 bullets, but it won't help him anymore. Down he goes. Optic, they haven't won any CT pistols just yet. That's not a great start to either map.
And the thing here as well is that G2 were able to run an anti-force buy where they only lost 1 player, which is honestly, especially on a map like this, it's a very good result. And that's going to be amazing because they actually killed all the players from Optic as well. Optic weren't able to save anything, so that's a really big problem for Optic. They don't have any real additional chance to do damage. They have 3 HEs in this round, so again, I talked about how it can be very difficult to time these correctly. They're going to toss them in straight away. G2 are going for a rush here into the banana position, and Shock is going to take a lot of damage, down to 21 health. And that might set them up, or set Optic up, that is, for a quick kill onto Shox, but he might respond by just playing at the back lines now as his teammates go into the A site. He'll let them do all the damage. Some headshots connected here, but again with the USP, you need a couple headshots at a decent range to get that to actually end up being fatal. And the bomb will be planted here, and more players for Optic will slowly fall as the money is made by the G2 side. And there it is, Tarek able to finish off one of the weakened players. Can he find anything else though? Another good start for G2, that's for sure.
Tarek may try to steal a weapon once the round is over, but G2 will know that as well. And Kenny is there to clean things out and deny him the privilege. 3-0. A big fat 3-0 for G2, off to a good start once again, and now it's buy time. Mixwell straight onto the AWP. Getting some armor as well. This is not a good map to be AWP, no armor. There was a period of time where Kenny would almost be guaranteed, once they lost the pistol, to start AWP no armor, but with these tighter and tighter maps, you can be very exposed to grenades in positions where you might take up an angle. There are some options on like CTA, but they are passive, like in the library, for example, not the most ideal place to start out, so you definitely want to keep your economy in check for that armor and AWP on the buy round. G2 showing initial presence, taking initial map control. They've been denied banana. Optic have managed to get their smoke grenade down there, and Mixwell will be holding things down on his own. And G2 early, they put the numbers in apartments, make sure Optic are back, and look how far back Optic are. They've got 3 people playing deep in the A bomb site, which means they've got no information apart from Mixwell towards B. But if he is forced away, then Optic are playing Essentially, they are just subject to the wishes and wills of G2. They have no idea where G2 might be going.
Yeah, G2 with that late banana control. Optic slowly feeling it out. Now they know. 3 players still on the A-bomb site. 3 players still on the A-bomb site, now starting to move them. If G2 get fast frags, that could be everything. The pop flash play through the smoke, denied by Body, as Mixwell goes back into safer areas. Wow, nice kill from Mixwell, finding Keddy through the smoke and still holding on to the construction position. This does allow his teammates to have 2 avenues of attack back into the bomb site. As Mixwell goes to the peak, 2 players on the angle. What a beautiful setup there from G2. And now it's Apex going for the peak. He's going to meet 2 players of Optic. Good information there for the G2 side as they anticipate, or at least Shox anticipates, a potential push through that smoke. But it looks like Optic feel as though they cannot do any more. There's too great a risk, and they'd rather just carry these guns into the next round.
I love the positioning from the T's, the post-plant positioning in construction. They're making it as hard as possible for Optic to take fights with them. And again, especially with the AWP there, which they might not know at the time, but they're almost guaranteed a trade the way they're positioned. Glorious stuff. A lot of ECS fans here today. Day 1 of the live portion of the finals here at the SSE Arena in Wembley, London. 4-0. A mirror of overpass, and that does not bode well for Optic. They've still got to buy, however, around what they saved. Mixwell still on the AWP. But again, I wonder if Optic played so passively from the beginning because their economy wasn't just yet in the right place, or if they're giving their opponent respect. But again, I think it's going to be very hard to... I mean, at this point, whatever they choose to do, it's going to be difficult to try and survive against G2.
Ooh, G2 actually looking to go for a faster play in this round. Everybody geared up for an A set piece execution. Let's see if these smokes are going to do the job here for G2 as they switch up the pace from slow to a very aggressive start into round 5. Now this forces the CTs very passively into the site, isolating themselves. Hayes with the spray down. With the help of Rush, they'll get 2 on the defense. Looking very good, lining up for Hayes. Another one for him as he has stepped in now for Jason. Doing a good job in this defense so far. And now G2 are in desperation mode. How do they save this round? They have time at the very least, but they do not have the numbers. This is going to come down to big individual plays as Kenny will get shot in the back by Tariq. And now it's down to Apex. A fine one, but he'll quickly be traded by Mixwell. And that attack shut down by Optic.
First round on the board, an early-ish round for the Optic side. And now they go to 2 AWPs. Nafly currently wielding the second one. Again, sometimes you see Tariq, sometimes you see Naf on the AWP. Perhaps it's map dependent, maybe field dependent. So both AWPs are... no, excuse me. Nafly's going towards B. Mixwell is headed towards short A at present. So I don't think he's going to be peeking down mid. And again, G2 sending the numbers towards the apartments to get their early map control and potentially some early frags should the CTs dare to go in there. We don't see the CT present in apartments like we used to on old Inferno. Fnatic, perhaps one of the more notorious teams for the plays in apartments. Inferno has gone through changes and some things are more difficult than they used to be.
Now the interesting thing for me as well is if G2, they try to run a similar play, they use it as a fake, or maybe they just go with it again. Because it may be that they feel like, guys, we put ourselves in a position to win the round there. We just didn't hit the shots, or we didn't perform correctly. That could be the case. Let's see if they can do a better job this time. The second go of it, catching Mixwell. That's a good way to do it. And actually, they're going to be cutting off the site in half with smokes. This is problematic so far for Optic Gaming. Unable to really get the frags that they need to hold this down. But do G2 still understand that there's a player on the bomb site? Rush could do a lot of damage from this position. If that's not the case, there's one, but quickly traded. Shox in position and ready to go. And speaking of going, it's going to be Naf who's going back to the B bomb site to save his AWP. So G2 running the same round pretty much, and this time a very different result.
Wall of smokes, Mixwell isolated, gambling around the cart, taking a position to take out any wide players on shore, but no, they made their way towards the site and took him out in his blind spots. So that immediate reset from Optic Gaming doesn't look good for the North Americans. AWP should be saved moving into the next round, but there's not much else going on for them at the moment. They will get $1,900 for losing this round, and they don't have much cash in the coffers. So G2 will be cruising. They'll be on autopilot for the next round or two.
I really like it when teams, have this situation where where they don't just think, oh, we did it once and it didn't work, so I guess it just doesn't work then, and they don't go to that round again. And sometimes teams actually do something where they go to run and it works, and they get kind of afraid to run it again because the other team's thinking, oh, they did this round, that's really good against us, so we expect that now. And that's not often going to be the case. So great to see that they still run these A executions, and they had success with it. And this makes things very ambiguous from Optic Gaming as well, because right now it feels as though for G2 everything can work still. They have an answer for a multitude of situations. Nafly getting into a 4 position, but every time we see that Molotov there from G2 to deny the forward AWPing. And well, here come the entry frags.
Yeah, they know the AWP is towards B. They know they don't have the money to buy much else or to buy around it really, because only one player survived, so they can just start charging towards A. But as time continues, the chances of the AWP rotating increase. G2 do not need to take any unnecessary risks. Nafly near a position that Fox made notorious for the longest time, going back to DreamHack Cluj. Not what it used to be anymore on Banana. Times have changed.
One cool thing as well that we're seeing every round from G2 is that Molotov that's very deep onto the kind of car position, where essentially you deny the forward angle from the AWPer. And one thing about that is, against a team like G2, if you're in Optic's position, you don't want to just at some point re-peek that position after the Molotov goes away, because that could be an angle that's now held by an AWPer from G2. You have to throw a flashbang with it, and that's some, if there's a player from G2 at the bottom of Banana, they're going to hear that flashbang, they're going to understand you're going to retake that angle, they can understand sort of how you're rotating, how your setup is. And right now we see it's an attempt for killing this AWPer, not a fully committed one from G2, still want to keep their economy in good stead, only investing one player in finding Naf. And they won't be successful in taking him down. But I am interested to see how this dynamic on Banana will play out as G2 continue to pressure it and continue to force a CT side to invest utility, even if it's just a couple extra flashbangs, in getting it back after they throw that Molotov. So a 6-1 scoreline. It's another great start for G2 on that T side. They can absolutely dictate the pace, and that's what they've been doing. And so far, Optic have been bending, or have been bended to their will. And this time a very fast play into Banana. This time Nafly, instead of receiving a Molotov, that's a direct flash. And he has to fall all the way back. Tarek, though, going to meet the push. A quick frag for him as his teammate will flash him back into safety. And that's a good result. Oh my God, that's an outrageous peek there from Body, taking Nafly down in an instant with that AK-47. And again, he does not stop. Another frag from Body to get into the bomb site. G2 have unlocked this B bomb site, but will they be able to hold it down for longer?
The CT's very close to the site as the bomb goes down, the smoke disappearing from the front. CTs have got a lot to do. They've got a lot of grenades actually to come in for this push. They've got a Molotov that might go towards Apex's position if they can find an angle, but the flashes are there for the T side, and this Body once again looking to do the damage. CTs are being delayed. They haven't got a kill yet in this retake. Slowly creeping in. They're going to save what they can and make a break for it. Hayes doesn't want to take that fight. Got to get out of there, save whatever he can hold on to. 7-1 in favor of G2.
Oh, poor Apex will fall to the detonation there, but Body will collect the AWP. And he earned it after those 2 very swift entry frags. Body, a man that can do it all, James. A man that can do it all. Can AWP, can entry, can play the lurk, can play the clutch, can do pretty much whatever you ask him to do. And so far, success has been had for the G2 side. And where will Optic's rounds actually come from? Do they have to go for heavy Banana pressure? Do they have to try to play the information game in a more invested way like that? That's one thing that they haven't gone to just yet. They've been fairly passive on Banana, easily giving it up when G2 throw a few grenades. Oh, G2 walking the apartments here. Something a bit more common in this new edition of Inferno, which is much harder for the CTs to hold.
T's charging in, Rush with a great angle for the first kill, but he didn't stop NBK, who tries to clean up, but can only do so much. Double pick from the CTs will be good for another kill, and Shock's down to 4 HP. Problems, he can't escape. Tarek around the corner with the Deeg. Apex 15 HP. Might be a question of damage at this point. If he can take some of these weapons away, make Optic take less into the next round, although of course he's going to look for the win, but with 15 points of health, we might be asking a bit much. Tarek with the overkill headshot with the Deagle for the second round for Optic. And again, they managed to save a fair bit. So maybe they stand a fighting chance to claw some rounds back. G2 are coming full force once again. Kenny on the sniper, and the AKs are also in play. Full grenades, full everything for the G2. They've got everything they want. Optic starting with 3 people towards A. No peek down mid, save for the high explosive grenades. And the grenades, of course, will be deployed down Banana as well. No smokes just yet, though. There we go. So Optic, they've managed to secure Banana as well. And I think that is going to be important for their CT rounds, although they're still not winning many.
Yeah, and this is the adjustment I wanted to see them try, to have more pressure there. Again, it gives you more information as to what's going on, and you kind of put a challenge to G2, and you say to G2 that, look at all this information that we have on the map right now. Do you guys want to actually challenge us for this, or are you going to allow us to understand that you're going to go towards A? And if you do go towards B, we're going to have a lot of time to react and get people in position. That's generally what this is the CT's doing, just setting that challenge to the Ts. And it looks like G2 are going to be happy to actually answer this challenge. We might see a flash through this, indeed, as they start to rush down Tarek's position. Now, Tarek has to make sure that he's able to survive in this position. He can't allow himself to get picked off too quickly. We'll see if that happens. Goes for the big engagement, gets picked off almost immediately, but now you can see that the Ts can just easily get into the bomb site. They don't have to worry about him hiding in the site, and maybe give, let's say, Mixwell a chance to perhaps get in a quick shot before the smokes go down. Let's see, though, if Optic can still save the day. They've got players coming from Banana as well as from CT.
Yeah, Shock's holding down Banana at present. Can't get a second kill, but the numbers game is still even for G2, and it's them in the post-plant positions. Body popping up, and Mixwell's ready for it, so perhaps there's another round on the board here for Optic Gaming, but Apex with the off angle takes him by surprise. He's got flashbangs up, Kenny as well. Kenny looking away. Great timing there from G2, working again as a unit, and now it's down to Hayes to stand in. Kenny taken down in a 1 versus 1. Apex, he's moving around the site. He is coming in, not from an expected position. A very quick rotation around construction from Apex for an 8th round on the board for G2. They cannot string rounds together, the Optic Gaming side.
Yeah, and I think it's always that very hard choice that Tarek has to make there. Like, do you try to go for frags? Do you try to get that double? Or do you try to play the delay? I'm not sure if there is a 100% right call in that situation. The safer call is to try to delay, but at the same time, again, it's always going to be a difficult one. And in the moment, you just got to make that gut call. And unfortunately, he didn't get the extra frag he needed. We'll see though if Optic can bounce back. They do have the open play on Tarek. In this round, he's gone Kevlarless. And we see once again Optic taking forward presence towards Banana. They do feel as though this is a good adjustment so far, but they have almost no grenades left in the tank. They've got 3 flashbangs remaining. And that's a very difficult situation on Inferno when there's 1 minute and 20 seconds left. G2 looking for any aggression, any signs of Optic. But again, as I mentioned, the apartments is much harder to deal with for the CTs than it was in the previous edition of Inferno, especially due to the fact that that bedroom is no longer there. It's a bit more open as well, generally. And once again, G2 with some late map control. Just taking Banana away from Optic, who once held it with the smoke, but now there's no utility left. Still holding on to a couple flashbangs, though.
NBK suggesting a play towards B, while Apex picks off a player on long A. Apex traded. We've got Body in a forward position towards apartments. Rush with the off angle. Standard stuff over there. 37 seconds left, and they're still considering their options, G2. Maybe that kill may give the game away towards the A site. Bomb now headed towards B, while a play is made by Body. Not going to work out. Hayes delivering on B as well. Mixwell holding the off angle. He can engage towards Paul later on. Hayes being the bait for the meantime, and he's delivering Hayes. Shots taken down, leaving Kenny alone. And there is a trade from Mixwell. 3 players surviving. 3rd round on the board for Optic. And they pick up some AKs as well.
Yeah, they had no grenades. Again, just to mention that, they had no grenades in that round. So pretty impressive to pick it up nonetheless. We'll see what G2's response is to that round. But now Optic can have the benefit of having all the grenades once again. I'm curious if they'll keep playing Deep Banana. They've been doing so even, again, in that round where they have so little utility to spare. They still decided that it was a priority that they wanted to do that. So now it's just pistols here for G2. I don't know, this might be the first time we've seen this, James, if you consider the first map when they had seemingly infinite money. And it looks like a push again. That is the case here. Mixwell going in with a nice spray down as the aggression comes down middle as well from his teammates. And that will clean up pretty much all of G2. Optic saying they're not afraid to get aggressive, and that's very important.
Yeah, always nice to see those anti-eco rushes from the CT side on Inferno. Reasonably common across teams, and it's just nice to shut down the opponent before they can get up to any shenanigans, before they can abuse the close range, just take their options away from them. We have a tactical timeout from G2 as they consider their options. Their money is good enough. They're $4,000 to $5,000 for the most part. The AKs are coming out and some Tech 9s as well. So not everyone will have the cash for a rifle, but Optic Gaming looking good for the time being. They've got 2 AKs in tow as well. So again, 7 to 8 is still possible. The score is currently 4 to 8 in favor of G2. See,
I do like the timing, by the way, of the timeout, because it's this spot where G2, like, they don't have any momentum, because this is one of the times when you don't want to do the timeout. It's like, oh, we have this momentum, you know, why would we do a timeout now? The rounds are you're kind of in the zone, but now, you know, they've lost the rounds, you know, all the momentum's come to a halt. Okay, maybe they still have a big advantage and they know what to do, but it doesn't hurt to take one now, as they have quite a few timeouts. So I like the timing there at this juncture. Ooh, Mixwell, he's burning James, and he will be cremated. It looks like it's Tarek left in the position by B, and 10 seconds have passed basically, and everyone's dead.
What the hell's going on, Dad?
I have no idea what is happening right now on the B bomb site. Very fast push there from G2. Perhaps a response just to Optic trying to take that position aggressively each round. It's going to work out for them, although a quick kill coming in from Hayes to try to even it up, but it really is far from what you would say is even, as it stands a 4 versus 2 in favor of G2.
G2 not rushing straight into the B bomb site, maybe having a read that the last 2 will rotate there to try and do what they can. Now the bomb is down on A. I was going to say 3 versus 2, but that's disappeared. And I don't know how much there is for Hayes to do at this point. He spotted 1 player, though, and that might be a window of opportunity that he needs to try and clutch this for his team. Does he go for the kill? Does he leave the player there? It will be the latter. Moving towards the site. Maybe it will be a ninja, or ninja if you're Swedish. 25 HP. He does not expect the T's to look towards apartments, although people can still try and save towards the corner of the site, and someone's jumping in but failing. Has he still got time to do this? No, Kenny not too far away.
I respect that. I respect the attempt, man. And to be fair, that's probably one of the only plays that he has there with such little health as well. He's trying to play it smart. 9-4 the score now as G2 win yet another round, and will they restrict Optic to those 4 rounds? And again, you know, what is the response from Optic now? They know that, okay, G2 has been abusing them, trying to be aggressive on Banana. Do they go back to how they were playing it before, where they weren't finding success as well? It gets a bit hazy now for Optic to make the calls as to how they want to deal with this. They've got 3 towards Banana. That's a good call, actually, from the Optic side, as G2 have been very aggressive towards this position. Looks like they're going for another fast one, James.
Indeed, there are 3 players, though, towards the B bomb site. Rush, not too far from Speedway. Flashbang timing doesn't quite work out for Tarek. Classic stuff from the CT side. What's not classic, though, is Hayes standing in the middle of mid with a CZ. And now NBK rotating towards second mid. In the meantime, Apex picking Tarek off towards B, so this is turning into Bedlam. Now we've got a full rotation from the CTs towards the B bomb site, but G2, they're not committing to anything just yet. In fact, the bomb is going back towards mid as NBK charges up this second mid area.
What a strange beginning of the round. I really like the play from Optic there. They put the deep smoke there towards the Banana position from middle to try to take massive control of the map. And they actually had all of G2 just boxed in, but then they sort of, I'm not sure if there was a panic or how they felt about the situation, but they all fell away. And now look at Shox go. A quick double for him. Might be a peak for a third. And Shox goes for the engagement, doesn't get it though, but still, he's put his team in a 4 versus 2 situation. and they know that one of the two players remaining is at B, so they know they have a 4 versus 1 guaranteed on the A site at the moment, as the bomb will make its way there. And again, Optic in a pretty impossible situation to save this round. So out of position, they'll decide to save. But I'm a bit sad that we didn't see Optic staying in middle for a bit longer. Perhaps it was a response to Tarek going aggressive and getting picked off from Banana. I'm sure we'll get the analyst talking about it later on, perhaps. So we have another round going the way of G2. Is it just going to be 4, James? That's the question in this half for Optic.
Well, it's going to be 4 or 5. So
well done.
Let's see. They're not going to get much money from this round loss. They have an AWP and an M4 to play with. I mean, we've seen it. They've had some difficulty trying to get aggressive. You saw Mixwell was naded into oblivion, playing around a car position on Banana with the AWP. So will that deter him from doing it again? I mean, it's partly spawn dependent as well. He's got an average spawn towards both areas. So we'll find out what they choose to do. UMP onto Nafly. Mixwell buying some grenades here or there. We're asking a lot of Optic to get a 5th round on the board. Nafly with the Mag 7 now.
Shox always looks so razor focused. It's crazy. Whenever you look at him, I just start to get more focused just by looking at him, James.
You should put a picture of him on your desktop.
I probably should.
4 players towards Banana for the T side again. Maybe expecting a Mixwell play there. Maybe expecting someone to try and get aggressive. The numbers game, the grenades, everything. The flashbang is there. NBK picked off towards bottom mid. And Mixwell's charging on the flank. And they're being contained, G2. This could be another round for Optic.
What a massive play from Mixwell. Doesn't care. Crazy ballsy play, rushing mid with an AWP. And now we have just Shox remaining. And for how long is he going to survive? What on earth was that? Straight through the smoke, crazy spray. And now he's in a 1 versus 2. He's got 5 points of health. What on earth is he going to do to try to save this one? The bomb is down on the bomb side as well. Only problems here for Shox. I can't even think of a single positive thing that he has going for him.
Handsome.
I guess that works, but will his handsomeness save him here? We've got Mixwell looking for yet another frag. He's already got 2 in this round. And I still can't believe the crazy rush that he had, just going for it down middle after the first pick. Gambling that there would be no one to punish him. And his gamble was a winner. Shots on the angle, but Mixwell ready for it. Easy shot for him. And Mixwell winning the round in extravagant fashion, pulling a G2 to 5 rounds in this first half. And that does give them a chance here into the second, especially if they're able to win finally a pistol round.
Body's girlfriend is not going to be happy about that. It was bad enough when women were holding the site. Now it's men. Optic with 5 rounds moving into their second half. It wasn't enough on overpass. It wasn't nearly enough on overpass. Inferno, will it be a different story or will they be playing the same tune? T side for Optic Gaming. Hayes will be the grenade man. 2 flashes and a smoke. Everybody with Kevlar for G2. They're looking for the Ed shots. No H necessary. 2-3 set up from G2. Quite standard, but it's a 5-man rush. It is a procession, a pilgrimage into the B bomb site.
The body's waiting there with the USP, missing the first few shots. They're getting closer and closer. He's getting more and more tagged up here. Apex there to try to help him out. And they're playing that classic position. They're hitting and body, but they're not hitting anything almost. Body does get 1 in Apex as well, but still more players here to go. In comes the rotation and Shox. Rather legendary with the USP, as apparently is Kenny S. Striking down the airborne Tarek. Now just leaving Rush at the back of the bomb site. Eliminated as well.
Smiths is pleased.
The Smiths
is pleased. He needs like just a high chair with like fake gold on it and maybe some cubic zirconia nonsense going on, some Game of Thrones level stuff.
That's 4 or 4 pistols, James, that they've won, I think.
Yeah, all the pistols, man. The aim is just too strong on the French side. French notorious for their edge shots. That is just nasty. It's nasty stuff. 11-5. The worst has happened for Optic Gaming. The pistols are out, but the Kevlar isn't.
I mean, it must feel so demoralizing to just lose every pistol, because it's just, you don't ever get a chance to really play your game as much. You never get a chance to have G2 in a position where you can initiate your strategies and have the edge in that sense. But we have all these pistols running very quickly up mid. They're actually wrapping around the site. Can MBK hold on? Not for too long. Gets one kill though. But still, Kenny S is in position and he's doing a great job.
Ding dong, headshots everywhere. Down to the 2-1-2. Only one CT in position, that's Shocks, but he's got the bomb as well. And Optic, they're so far away, it allows Apex to also get into position. He's looking for them to come in from the back, and that's exactly what they will do. He'll clean up both of them. Apex bleaching mid, 12-5 in favor of the Frenchman, the CT side. Optic won't have much to offer in this round. They've got about $3,000 for the most part. Is this a death by paper cuts, Dan?
That sounds horrible, James. I hope not.
Duncan said they'll be brutalized. Doesn't seem wrong so far. Next round, they will be offered an opportunity to change their fate, change the story in the books, the tales of time.
Very aggressive here from G2. And I love this as well, taking all those forward positions as much as you can on the CT side. It gives you a lot more information, you pressure the Ts, you make them feel forced to make certain decisions. You know that they either have to try to push you and basically get rid of your forward positions, or they go towards A. So it makes it much simpler than just waiting and giving them all the positions that they might want. Proactive style of Counter-Strike is what G2 is playing, and so far it's given them 13 rounds to the 5 of Optic Gaming. We'll see how far it goes for them, or as you said, if Optic can actually change the story somewhat here on their first buy.
It's worth mentioning also that Body appears to have a fault with his mouse at the moment, so after this game, because I have the same mouse as him, I'm going home to get one of my mice so he can use it. So we'll see if that impacts his play. Doesn't seem so at the moment. He's 14 kills for 11 deaths. So he seems to be managing, surviving.
He's been going ham.
I know, right? So maybe when he disconnects his mouse, it's just going to disintegrate. But we will try to sort him out ASAP. 1 minute 30 on the clock. Lots of time for Optic to do what they can, but again, do they have that G2K factor on the Optic side? I don't know if they have an equivalent to pressure G2, and you see G2 have no intentions of sitting back and allowing the Ts to do what they want to. Here comes the push from the CTs. 2 men pushing, but Naf and Mixwell are ready for it.
They're getting very confident, G2, and being punished. That's what you like to see here in Counter-Strike. If someone takes like a big risk, that you're able to set yourself up to punish them. And again, it's pretty similar to how G2 were playing their T side. They started punishing Optic for wanting to charge down Banana, and now it's the opposite way around. Oh, speaking of which, though, Apex just going in, no respect. He heard the scope, and he wanted to jump past it. And it was very successful, at least in getting the first kill. But it's still a 2 versus 3 for G2. However, Optic are moving into their clutches, perhaps. We'll have to see whether or not the likes of Kenny with that FAMAS can make it happen. A dink, but that's all he's going to get. MBK in perfect position there. This is a very difficult position to deal with. The headshot angles, gets the first kill. Now just toying with the next opponent. Again, a very favorable engagement. He would wish he would have an M4 here in this position. The FAMAS unreliable, and that will not yield any additional kills for MBK. But still, 3 kills in that round from G2 at the very least. They keep the pressure on.
It's a French gun, man. He was betrayed. He was betrayed by the FAMAS. I was going to say opportunity knocks for Optic, but Kenny has bought an AWP, so we'll see who knocks. 7 rounds between the 2 teams at present. Optic on 6. G2 3 away from a 2-0 scoreline versus their North American opponent. A 3-2 set up from the CT side to kick things off. Shocks with an AWP as well, headed towards the bomb site. Double flashes will allow him to charge forward. Oh, missing a shot, just strafing before clicking the mouse. A common occurrence with Orpa's. Rush, though, won't be so lucky, but he will survive for a time. Mixwell taken down in the meantime, and there's Tarek pushing through apartments. Nasty surprise for him. 5 versus 3, looking good for G2 at the moment.
Yeah, it's an awkward spot for Optic. They're in a desperate position where they have to make a play, and they have to decide very quickly where to do that, because you don't want to be in a position where your time is the enemy as well. Right now, time is with them. And the thing is that G2 are looking for their play. They understand what is likely to happen at the moment. You can see MBK in front of this, the play with the smoke, and the Molotovs able to get a very fast pick-off. Good timing coming in from the peak from his teammate as well. Apex will fall, but MBK still in position with the UMP. Gets all 3 kills for a total of 4 in this round. Great stuff there from him. 14-6.
It's a very nice play from NBK. He sees the velocity on the grenades, and he knows that he has an opportunity to just charge in before the player is ready to draw his weapon and fire some shots. It's a great play from NBK. Very fast reactions there for a 14th round for G2. 1 AK and a bunch of pistols for the Optic Gaming side. They've got some grenades though, but do they have the execute behind those grenades? And will it yield them a round? They've only got 6 at present. It's been all G2 in this series so far. Kenny with the cheeky peek, full of confidence. Hayes looks away. And that's the last thing he will see. 4 versus 3, top mid, but they've got an opportunity to perhaps steal the AWP away. Indeed, they'll do exactly that. Very patient shot, though, from Shox. You are surrounded, Optic Gaming.
Yeah, just look how much time Kenny has bought from just those re-peaks. They look crazy, they look aggressive, but ultimately they help to just allow G2 to dominate once again in another round. They stop Optic from being able to execute anything. And now we have what could be the last round because Optic have no money to play with. They have to force buy to prevent G2 from just taking it right here and now and making it 16-6. A Deagle and 4 Tech 9s, a handful of smokes, flashbang and a Molotov. Let's see what the Optic team are going to do. It's likely going to be a rush somewhere. Is it B or is it A? Looks like it's likely going to be towards Banana. There's 3 players there from G2. They are going to be prepared for this.
Shox could get taken by surprise. He's very close with an AWP. But again, no respect for their opponent. G2 just that damn good. But again, the strafe before firing the shot misses the mark. And there's an AWP to be collected. Kenya's taking Hayes down towards top mid in the meantime, but they don't know if anything else lies in mid. Kenny repositioning to library position, so there are only 2 CTs on the site, but that might be enough. Body and Apex cleaning up, and that's it. 16-6, another dominating scoreline. Duncan wasn't wrong, it was a brutal match of Counter-Strike, courtesy